Today I'm in my greenhouse and I'm checking in on my microgreen trials that I started a while ago. Some of these I started March 9th. Yeah, started around March 9th. Actually, most of them started March 9th, some March 8th, some March 13th. But this video kind of show you my process of elimination when I'm choosing certain microgreens, and I've got a bunch of different ones I've trialed here, and they've come far enough in their development now that I can get a better sense of whether I've got the right density or whether it's just a seed variety that I actually want to do. So I'll kind of just take you through these stages. One thing I will start with though is just showing you my new sunflower seed variety that I'm doing. It's a black oil sunflower seed, and it's just a different seed lot than what I'd been using, and the yields are insane. I'm getting 2 pounds of sunflower shoots off one flat. I just watered these ones, so they're just kind of leaning over, and you can see how long they are. Insane yields, like just absolutely insane. I had to mess around a little bit with my seed density. So for the most part, I've been using 170 grams per flat. That's my basic ratio. That's before soaking and sterilizing them and all that. But I've increased it, and so I've just been messing around because it's a different seed variety, and so you have to kind of tweak it a little bit here and there to find out what works. And so we've been planting 12 flats twice per week, and we've been doing 1900 grams or 1.9 kilos of dry seed per 12 flats. And that's what this batch is, and it's insane. It's just thick as can be, huge yields off it, so I'm really happy about that. All right, let's start with, we'll just go through each of these varieties. So here was a variety that I did 2 different trials of. This is red Pak Choy, and this one was 20 grams seeded March 13th. This one was 12 grams seeded March 13th. And just check out the difference there. And obviously, in my opinion here, the 20 gram one is way better. So that's a yes so far, but I'm going to keep this one growing as well because I might try to grow it at a different stage. So for the most part, a microgreen is grown at the cotyledon stage, which is the baby leaf. But this type of microgreen, I might want to grow it to true leaf stage to get that look. And if that's the case, then I'll want to keep the 12 gram one as well, so that I can split test them and see the difference. So all of these ones here, this is all my no pile. Basically, I'm just pulling these out right now, and there's not even a point of me growing them. I'm just going to compost them right away. But I'll show you why. So here's I did 2 red cabbages. These are the first ones I did in March 9th. 12 grams and 8 grams. So the 8 grams is, forget about it. It's way too thin. And the 12 gram one is better, but not great. One thing that you notice when you're too thin on your seed densities with microgreens is that when you go to water them, they just lay down. Like you can see these cilantros here, same thing. They just fall down because there's not enough core structure there at the density to hold the plant up. And if they're knocking down constantly, well, then that's a hassle. That's going to make it difficult to harvest, and you're not going to get a very good yield anyways. I'm trying to get near 1 pound of yield per flat. So I basically, in metric terms, I want to get at least 300 grams. That's less than a pound, but that's what I want. Like, that's my bare minimum. If I can't get 300 grams, then I'm not going to grow that. So that's about 0.75 pounds. So that's bare minimum. I would like to get more, obviously. If I can target 450 grams or 1 pound, then I'm golden. So that red cabbage, that one didn't work out too well. But this red cabbage, so this one I did later on. This one here is March 13th, 20 grams. This one is really nice, and just check out how beautiful it is. It's a very, very dark red. And I like that because this one is actually just going to be grown to its cotyledon stage. I'm not going to grow this one to true leaf stage. So that 20 grams, I'm thinking that's my winner right there. I did a purple kohlrabi here, and this one was at 8 grams, way too thin. So I'm already seeing that as far as the brassicas are concerned, that I'm looking around 20 grams per flat, because most brassica seeds are the same size. They're these little black seeds, you know, red Russian kale, broccoli, green kale, mustard greens, Mizuna. They're all that same type of seed. Arugula seed is a lot smaller, but for those ones, so I'm already starting to see that I want to have around 20 grams per flat. And I'll show you some of the first ones I did. So these ones actually go back to March 2nd. And the only reason I've continued to grow these ones is because I just wanted to see what they would look like at true leaf stage. And so these ones were way too small. This is a Bok Choy variety called Joy Choy, and 3 grams and 6 grams, like, forget about it. They're not even, they're pathetic. They're too thin, they fall over when you water them. But this is just kind of an example of how you might want to get to grow it. Is I've got the 2 true leaves coming through there, and I like that. And the thing that I like about it right now, just on observation here, is that the cotyledons aren't yellowing. So some microgreens, when you grow them past the cotyledon stage into the true leaf stage, the cotyledons will yellow. Radish does that very commonly, but this one doesn't seem to do that, so that's nice. So that means that I might be able to grow this one just past that true leaf stage, maybe get the second true leaf in there. There's just one there, and then the second one is coming out. Oh no, the second one was eaten by something. So I would probably grow those 2 true leaves a little bit bigger, and that might be an ideal development stage to harvest that crop. But again, I'm just keeping these just so I can see what they look like at true leaf stage. And then I did some arugula here. These ones didn't do very well either, 3 grams and 6 grams again. So obviously I need to go denser there. And the true leaves on those ones aren't coming out. So we are, what's the March 19th? It's like getting to late March. I think it's the 19th. So these ones have already been over 2 weeks. So that might be a little bit slow growing that I want it to be. And the thing that I don't like about arugula, and I discovered this years ago, is it's just a small microgreen. The cotyledons are small. The seed is small. It's not very ideal. So I'm not a big fan of arugula as a microgreen in general. I probably won't do that one. And then just checking in here on, this is red Frills Mustard. I love this one, it's beautiful. The densities here sucked, so I'm gonna go heavier. But this is kind of what I'm targeting, is I can see the 2 true leaves coming through, and I've got a nice, so that's the defining characteristic of that. Because if it was just the cotyledons on their own, they don't really have much to them. There's not a lot of character in them. But the mustard with just the true leaves is beautiful. Red Frills Mustard, sometimes it's called Red Frills Mizuna. They're really the same thing. So I like that one. I'm not happy with my density. These ones are 4 and 8. That didn't work out very well. So I'm going to increase the density there. Again, this one might have to go to a 20 gram density as well. So that will be another one that I'm going to try shortly. And just want to show you here a couple other failures. The Ruby Chard, these ones were horrible. And I did a couple different trials where I soaked the seed and then planted the seed dry. What I discovered is you don't need to soak the seed. You can plant it dry and it's totally fine. You get the same result. This one here wasn't soaked and it had just as good of germination as these. But my densities on these ones were way off. I started low. I went 25 and 75 milliliters, so I measured those ones by volume just because it's a big seed and it was easy to do that. And yeah, those densities sucked. Like there's no yield there, right? And it's so thin that every time you water it, it all falls down. So this variety later on, I kicked this one up. So I went to 150 milliliters on this one, and even there, that's a little bit thin. I'm thinking I can probably kick this up to 200 milliliters and get a better germination. What I also did on this one is I sprinkled a little bit of vermiculite on the top to help germinate the seed better. Whether that was totally necessary, I'm not 100% sure because I did it on here and on these two as well. But a friend of mine, actually Yotam, who I interviewed in New Zealand, the video Crushed in It on a Quarter Acre, lots of you guys have watched it. he said that he does that. He sprinkles a bit of vermiculite on the top. So I wanted to try to mimic what he did there. So a couple others here that I really like. This is called shungiko. This is a shungiko or something like that. It's a Japanese flower, basically, but it's a beautiful microgreen. And I used to grow shungiko in my salad mix. Actually, I would just grow it on its own. I kind of stopped doing it though. The yield wasn't there on the beds, but I'm thinking that the yield might be there on the microgreens, because right now I've got a beautiful germination rate. I've got a nice thick canopy there, and these are probably another week off from being close to harvest. So this one I planted March 13th, and so these are just about a week old, and they're looking good. I did 2 trials. I did one at 10 grams, this one at 20 grams. And I'm just gonna wait on those ones and see how they do, and then I'll probably make a decision of whether that's the correct density or not for me. Going over here, I did some cilantro, 25 grams, and I think I could even go thicker than that. So I might try to beef it up to 30 grams and see how it does there, maybe even 35 grams. This is red Russian kale, this one here, 24 grams. This is pretty good. This is actually, looks very similar to radish when I grow radish, but the thing is with this one is I want to get it to true leaf state, because otherwise it looks and tastes like radish. So there's no real difference to it unless I can get it to true leaf stage. So I'm kind of waiting on that one to see what true leaf stage will look like at 24 grams. This one's about 12 days old right now, so that's not bad, and hopefully it won't yellow on the cotyledon when I get the true leaf, so we'll see about that. Alright, so here's another one. This is another Bok Choy. I kicked this one up in the density from the other ones that I originally did 3 and 6 grams. I went to 12 here, and it's okay, though you see they're kind of falling over a little bit. That's because it's probably a lower density than it could be. However, I want to see what this one looks like at true leaf stage. So that's where it might really thicken up. So I'm just going to stick it out with this one and see how it does. This here is basil, and basil is a fantastic microgreen. It's beautiful. And so this one, March 2nd, so this is about 2 weeks old, a little more. And you know, it's still just at cotyledon stage. True leaves just starting to poke through, and that's what I want. With a basil microgreen, I actually want 2 nice, thick true leaves that are about the width of the cotyledons. And basil is actually a pretty easy one to do. And I just sprinkled it right on dry, didn't put anything on top of the seed at all. And it's done pretty well, it's germinated pretty well. So I'm hoping that I can be getting about 1 pound of flat from basil. This basil here was half the density, so this one was at 6 grams. And a little bit of spottiness because the falling over that happens when you water. So that tells me right there that this one I'll probably just compost right away. I don't really need it. Here we've got some green kale, so just standard green frilly kale. And oh, I got a little neighbor in there, a little ladybug hanging out. And oh, I got a few in there actually. And I want to grow this one past true leaf stage too, so that's why it's got a slightly wider density. This one we did 8 grams on a flat, and yeah, the jury's not out on that one. We'll yet to see how it goes. So here's another red mustard or red Mizuna. Little bit thin still. So I might kick up that, you know, again, these ones are going to get kicked up as far as their density. But I like what I'm seeing as far as the way the microgreen looks. And I think if I increase the density a little bit on this one, I will get a pretty decent yield. Okay, so this is Shifu, and I'm just uncovering that there. Okay, that's nice. That looks really nice. And this one is a little bit finicky, and the seed is very, very expensive. So this one's gonna go in the light now. It's just starting to go to cotyledon stage. So that's gonna go in the light. I like what I see so far on that one. And this one, we do grow this one to true leaf stage. So I don't mind a lower density here, and we'll just have to see how it does in the next week or so. So I'm just uncovering this. This is Chervil, and it's kind of a weird looking seed, and it hasn't really germinated very well, and it's even drying out a little bit. So it's sat for a while, and so I'm thinking that I'm going to try this one again and cover it up with a bit of vermiculite, and maybe I'll get a little bit of germination. So what I'll do is I did 2 trials. This one did horribly, like there's not a lot of good germination in there. So I'm going to try, I'll just try this density again, 12 grams, I'll go with the heavier one, put a little bit of vermiculite on it, and then see. So those are just, that's compost. You know, these are the trials and tribulations of figuring this stuff out. This is red sorrel, and not really good germination so far. These ones are a week old, and they haven't germinated very well, so I might try this one again and cover this one up too. It's a super tiny seed, so yeah. Here too, not good germination at all. Really poor germination. So yeah, we're gonna cover this up with a little bit of vermiculite and see how that goes. So those are my trials, guys. Thought I'd just take you through that process, and I like to do stuff like this because the whole idea when I make a video like this is it's the teach a man to fish type idea. Instead of telling you exactly how to do things, teach you the process so that you can figure it out yourself. Because if you don't figure it out yourself and you don't learn to problem solve, you won't farm very long, because farming is all about solving problems every single day. Hope you guys have found that helpful. Talk to you later.